Imagine this. A former president, one of the most polarizing figures in modern history, walks into a brightly lit studio expecting a routine chat about his legacy. 30 minutes later, the set is crackling with tension. Accusations are flying like bullets, and the interview spirals into a full-blown confrontation that leaves jaws on the floor. What happens when a legendary journalist corners Donald Trump with ironclad evidence of shady offshore deals, and he fights back with rage, denials, and threats? This isn't just an interview, it's a battlefield. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be yelling at your screen. Hit that subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, and drop a comment telling me Team Trump or Team Truth. Let's dive into the explosive Diane Sawyer showdown that's still shaking the internet. The studio was pristine, almost too perfect. Two sleek chairs facing each other across a minimalist table, each with a single glass of water glistening under the hot lights. Cameras hovered like hawks, ready to capture every twitch, every glare. Diane Sawyer, the queen of calm composure with decades of hard-hitting interviews under her belt, smiled warmly as Donald Trump settled in. "Mr. Trump, thank you for joining us. Your schedule is packed. I truly appreciate this." Trump leaned back, exuding that trademark swagger. "Diane, you're one of the fair ones. Not like the fake news crowd always attacking. I respect that." The vibe was cordial, almost friendly. But anyone who's followed Sawyer's career knew the warmth was a setup for the storm. She wasted no time shifting gears. Glancing at her notes, though she rarely needed them, Sawyer's tone sharpened. "Let's address the elephant in the room. Serious allegations have surfaced about your pre-politics business empire. Documents show payments to offshore accounts funneled through shell companies tied to foreign entities with questionable ethics." The air thickened instantly. Trump's eyes narrowed, his posture stiffening. "Who's alleging this?" "I've been investigated more than anyone in history. Russia hoax, impeachments, you name it." "Every time?" "Nothing. Zero." Sawyer didn't blink. "These aren't hoaxes. Financial records, recently uncovered, detail millions routed through Cyprus-based shells, then looping back to your entities. Patterns that raise red flags for ethicists, investigators, even everyday Americans." Trump's face flushed, that familiar crimson tide rising. "Documents? From where? The same deep state leakers?" "This is a witch hunt, Diane, pure and simple. They can't beat me at the ballot box, so they fabricate garbage." Sawyer pressed on, unflinching. "No fabrication. A whistleblower from inside your organization, someone who worked closely with you for years, provided these. They claim transactions were deliberately obscured, deals struck with the explicit promise of secrecy." Silence crashed like a wave. Trump stared, unblinking, as if deciding whether to bolt. Producers in the booth froze. Camera operators zoomed in on his clenched jaw. "A whistleblower?" Trump finally growled, voice low and venomous. "I've had thousands of employees. Jealous losers, fired for cause, now bitter and lying for payback. You're buying this?" Sawyer leaned in. "Accountability isn't about grudges. You held the Oval Office. Americans trusted you. Don't these questions deserve real answers?" Trump exploded. "I've answered more than any president ever. Press conferences, rallies, interviews, nonstop. It's never enough. When does the harassment end?" Sawyer's response was ice cold. "This isn't harassment. It's truth-seeking. Wire transfers totaling millions to nations with hostile U.S. ties. Emails plotting to keep deals quiet. Recorded calls stressing discretion. These are facts, not attacks." Trump's hand slammed the armrest. Bam! "Show me. Doctored fakes out of context. I built an empire, created jobs, made impossible deals. Now you question my integrity over some papers?" Sawyer fired back with specifics. 2014, $15 million from a Cyprus shell linked to sanctioned corrupt officials. "What was it for?" Trump's calm cracked, then rebuilt eerily. "In global business, paths aren't always pristine. Competitors sabotage, governments rig rules. Money flows through channels for protection. That's survival, not scandal." Sawyer pounced. "So you admit the transactions but justify them?" Trump backpedaled fast. "Hypothetically? Real world ain't black and white like your newsroom bubble." The heat escalated. Sawyer brandished an email. "Keep the Cyprus deal off the books. Too many eyes with the campaign heating up. Discretion critical." Your words. Explain. Trump's shock morphed to fury. Context. Business discretion isn't concealment. But Sawyer wasn't done. Partners later convicted of laundering, trafficking. Watch lists flagged them years prior. Your team had briefings, testimony confirms it. Trump dismissed it as another disgruntled ex-employee's grudge. The back and forth intensified. Denials, deflections, accusations of media bias. Trump stood abruptly, yanking at his mic. This is an ambush. Fake pretenses. Sawyer's steel voice cut through. Sit down. You said ask anything. Walking out proves you can't answer. He sat, mic dangling like a noose. Fine, ask, but you'll regret this. Sawyer drilled deeper on an Eastern European property flip, bought cheap via tax haven shell from a corrupt oligarch's front, sold for triple in under a year. Looks like laundering. Trump gripped his chair, knuckles white. Asset protection. Unstable regions demand it. Every big corp does shells, Apple, Google. But me? Suddenly criminal. Sawyer, they're not tied to jailed kingpins. Your signature approved these. You can't plead ignorance at that scale. Trump roared. Tens of thousands of docs! I trusted pros, accountants, lawyers. Buck stops with success, not micromanaging every penny. The climax hit like thunder. Sawyer, if you couldn't oversee clean operations, maybe you shouldn't have run an empire or the country. Trump froze, then unleashed. No right! I turned my father's gift into billions, jobs, skyline icons. Fixed America when pros failed. You dare say I shouldn't have run? Sawyer, journalism demands answers. Hidden offshore cash, criminal partners, prison-bound associates, that's what voters deserve to know. Trump pointed, trembling. You see a dodger? I see a hack pushing propaganda. History will roast you for this fake news hit job. Sawyer closed unflinchingly. Facts aren't fake because you yell. Documents exist. Transactions happened. Silence screams guilt. Trump's final barb. Everyone's conspiring but me? Pathetic. The interview ended in standoff stasis. Trump storming off mic. Sawyer poised as ever. What a meltdown. This wasn't just TV. It was a masterclass in confrontation. Trump raged, denied, deflected, but couldn't dismantle the evidence. Sawyer, relentless, armed with docs, emails, testimonies spanning decades. Was it a fair probe into power or a biased takedown? Did Trump's walkout threat expose weakness, or was it smart damage control? The allegations, offshore millions, shady shells, corrupt ties paint a pattern too consistent for coincidence. Yet Trump frames it as elite survival in a rigged game. Who's right? Viewers, this saga's far from over. Subpoenas, leaks, maybe court battles ahead. What side are you on? Do the docs prove corruption, or is it another deep state smear? Comment below, debate it. Smash like if Sawyer slayed, dislike if Trump triumphed. Subscribe for updates. We'll break every twist. Final thought. When the powerful rage instead of explain, what does that tell us about truth? Your call. See you in the comments.